All right, so now I'm live. Hello, everybody. And here I am trying to find some resources for langjam or language jam done by Sandra. And I'm super excited to participate because this is my first time ever participating in a language challenge like this. I did try doing my own ones, but this is the first time I'm participating in a very organized one that has been around for a little bit. So I am super excited to do this. I got Lithuanian as my language, and I have never studied it before, which is kind of the point of this challenge. But if you're not familiar with Language Jam, then you can see in the description, I do have the website link there, which tells you all about the challenge, what it's like, what to expect, and it's actually not too late to sign up, which is super exciting. It'll be this weekend, and the nice thing about it is that it's a short challenge. It allows you to dabble in a language just for the weekend, and it's really cool that it's kind of, well, because it's short, because it's a little bit non-committal in the sense of you only have to do it for that weekend, and then if you like it, you can continue studying. So I think that that is super cool, and I'm so excited to jump into Lithuanian. And what I read online was that Lithuanian is related to the Slavic languages, and I have studied a little bit of Polish, so I'm not sure what kind of similarities there are between Polish and Lithuanian, but maybe it'll help, maybe it won't, but I'm super excited about this. So the first thing I'm going to do is, let's see, I actually have a list of what I planned on doing for this challenge and how I want to organize myself. One moment. I should have it right here. I keep a lot of lists on my phone, and that way it'll help me be organized with planning this process. So this week is a prep phase, which means you're not going to start studying anything. She did mention that if you have a script that's not a Latin script, then you can start studying that this week, but I chose Latin only. And with that, I will not be able to start studying this week, but you're allowed to use this time to gather some materials. And that's what I'm going to do now. All right. I'll probably be updating through Twitter and Snapchat as well, which both of those accounts, unlike my name on YouTube because it was already taken, is Passion for Lang, all one word, Lang like language. All right. I also think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an approach where I'm learning by phrases instead of grammar. And this is different from my normal approach because when I'm learning through learning another language, the way I usually start off is by taking a class, which is usually grammar-based rather than just through phrases. But because I only have a weekend and I'm working on Friday and then on Sunday part of my day is occupied as well, I will be trying to learn as much as possible through phrases rather than grammar, I think, which is going to be different from the normal way that I study, but I think it'll be cool to test out a new method of language learning because I know other people have used that method and I know it's been successful for them, but I've never really tried it myself, so I think it'll be really interesting to see how that works out. Normally, the first thing that I do when I'm looking for language resources but have no idea, which by the way, Andy Roberts had suggested a resource to me, which I do plan on using, and it's very helpful. And it's got, I mean, I didn't look at any of the actual words because I didn't want to start studying early or anything since that's not allowed. But what I did was I looked at what this resource was. And it's got phrases, it's got vocabulary, and I think it's going to be good. All right, so what I normally do is when I'm learning a language, if I didn't already hear about resources about this language, which I don't find a lot of people who are studying Lithuanian as one of their languages, I usually look up how I learned Lithuanian or whatever language that is. So going to Google, for instance, I'll usually type it in Google or YouTube and see, okay, how I learned Lithuanian and see what comes up, what resources these people used, any tips or advice that they have. So right now I'm doing just that. And it looks like there's a Reddit thread here that says, "How can I learn Lithuanian?" A lot of these other ones are websites that say learn Lithuanian online, how to learn Lithuanian with pictures, etc. Learn Lithuanian for free. But first, I'm going to check out this Reddit thread because I imagine that instead of just analyzing those language resources that I see there, I can just look at this thread and see what has worked for other people. I've never really used Reddit for language learning before. I actually have stayed away from Reddit because I know that it can be quite addicting. And I know I have that personality where I'm likely to get addicted to some kind of, I don't know, social media type thing, if that's what you want to call it. I'm not really sure what you would call that, but I do have that kind of personality where I get addicted to these things easily. And because of that, even though my friends, my boyfriend have told me, like, go on Reddit, I've kind of tried staying away from it for that reason. But I do know that there are subreddits for language learning, and I'm sure they're super helpful. And this one is in the Lithuania subreddit. All right. Let's see some comments. There are a few. There are quite a few. Not too many, though, unfortunately. But there are some here. Okay. Somebody mentioned Blue Blue. I can never pronounce that correctly, but somebody did mention it. All right. I'm not seeming to find much, though, on this thread. A lot of people are mentioning language courses so far, and that's in the country. Unfortunately, it will not be doable for this time frame. Check out Christy Sam. She makes videos on how to speak Lithuanian and goes over stuff like possessive pronouns and such. I don't know if I want to go that in depth, but I will check it out anyway. Oh, now they're saying interpals. People are saying, I wish Duolingo offered it. That would be helpful. Hi. So I see you're asking if we're getting PDFs or something. I actually don't know. I'm going to check the Language Jam website right now and see. That's what I should have done first, now that I think about it, instead of jumping straight to Google, because I know when I got my language, I ended up seeing under there, wait a second. I ended up seeing under What Now, to click here to go to the Language Jam's general resource and help page, where you'll find printables and some tips on how to approach this language. And I'm sure you can find some things from there as well. And I see here printables. Let me see if there are resources. Since this is my first time, I actually don't know what all is on the website. Okay, I'm not seeing, I'll go into the printables and language list here. And I have Lithuanian, so I'm gonna click on that. I wish I could kind of share my screen in some way. I see this looks like a course for Memrise. I see italki, I think, and I see one more over here. Closemaster. Okay. So I see Closemaster, I see Memrise, and I see italki. And let's go back and see what else. There were a couple more links underneath. There was general, and there was YouTube. And see what's there. Okay, I'm going to go to printables and see now. There's a daily planner, vocab, notes. Oh, for script practice, vocab, and grammar. All right. Okay, it looks like a PDF for writing down vocabulary. It's really cute. I really like it. So cute. It seems like the resources that I'm seeing on the Language Jam website are mostly, at least for Lithuanian, I'm not sure about the other languages, but mostly courses for Memrise, which I think could be very helpful. And then, as I said before, I saw italki. I was also linked to a YouTube website, or YouTube channel, sorry, that has some lessons. And I'm sure that's probably a safe bet for the other languages as well. So now going back to my Google search, well, I'll quickly check out this course here. It seems like there's 5 lessons. This is a whole playlist here. I think these might be, yeah, these are different channels that are in this playlist. So if you like the audio approach, if you're more auditory of a learner, then this would be for you for sure. Some of it's grammar, some of it's phrases, alphabet, that's always helpful. There's some Latvian in here as well. So this is something definitely to consider as a resource. And now I'll keep searching. There's this other channel. I have everything up in separate windows, but I want to put them in the same window but different tabs. So I'm going to do that to organize myself a little bit better. All right. You could probably hear the wild wind in the background. We're having a snowstorm today, and it's primarily ice now rather than snow. It's really loud, and I'm sure you could hear all of that outside as well as some rain and things. I'm going to quickly type a response here. All right. And what was that other one? italki memorize in YouTube. All right. I found this channel, Learn Lithuanian with Christina. This was one from the Reddit thread that I was looking at. And it looks like she's been on YouTube for a long time. It says some of her videos are 10 years old, and she still seems to make them. Her most recent one is from a year ago. But she's got a decent amount of videos on here. There's quite a bit. And they're all pretty short, too. That's what they were saying about possessive pronouns. I see a lesson on that right now. I'm not sure that I want to get into specifics like that rather than phrases. As I said, I think I'll probably take the approach of studying by phrases. That's what I have to come up with, some goals for Language Jam. And I don't know about you guys and what your goals are. Let's see. Andy. Hi, Andy. Ah. I think that that could be useful then. I do like the idea of an input approach, at least for this, because while I'll be doing a little bit of output, I'm not sure that I'll really be looking to converse with people after 3 days. I think my goal is to be able to film a short introduction. And that's where I come back to this idea of what kind of goals do I set? And I think that the type of goal that I'd like to set would be to do a short introduction video. Now I have to think of specific phrases for that and everything, kind of like a little script maybe. Just very A1 level type phrases, things I'd like to say. And I don't know about you or anyone who's done Language Jam before, but I would love to know what kind of goals you have. And if you're doing it now, I'd love to know what language you're studying. I'd love to know if this is your first time doing Language Jam, what methods you use to study. Yeah, anything really. That would be super helpful as it's my first time. But I'll definitely have to look into, here we go, blue, 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 blue. I have no idea how to actually pronounce the name, but I do have the app because I did review it, and I believe that I still have that app. Let's check. I should definitely have it on here somewhere. It might be over here. Checking right now. Huh. Okay, I can't seem to find it. I'm seeing memorize. Maybe I could type it in and see if I do have it somewhere. I feel very disorganized right now. Okay, going back to this. There's a lot of content on this channel that I'm looking at, and I'm seeing everything from basic phrases to food, shopping, telephone conversation, even going into different verbs such as to want. There's conjunctions, time of the day. Are there ever any basic topics that you struggle on when learning a language? Because for me, it's usually somewhere with numbers or time of day. Weather's always a difficult one as well. Oh, that's super cool. You found an ebook. Where were you able to find that on Google? Do you know the name of it? And hi, White Six Feathers. I got Lithuanian, which, as I said, is so different. I mean, I didn't know anything about Lithuanian before I looked up a little bit about the history, not the history so much, but a little bit of background on the language, just to find out. Well, I knew where it was spoken, but to find out just some basic information about it. And I hear that it's related to the Slavic languages a little bit, and it's a Baltic language, and I'm not sure how close it'll be to Polish, which I have studied a little bit of, but this is going to be, I have the feeling, completely new for me. Just type Lithuanian grammar. Okay. Let's go back to my Google window and type Lithuanian grammar. Is it? Let's see. Gonna open a few tabs here and see which one it can be. Hey, Ronald. So glad to see you here. And I'm so glad, by the way, that you're making videos in Italian. I have to catch up on some of them that you posted, but I am so, so happy to see that. Oh, no. So there's no Lithuania or Lithuanian Pod 101. That's so sad. I thought they had that for basically every language. Okay, I'm seeing a website here, mylanguages.org, and different lessons. That's not the PDF though. There's more lessons here. And this looks like it has some audio. Learn101.org. I've never used any of these sites before that I'm finding. It's very different because, as I said before, Duolingo does not offer Lithuanian. I can't just go straight to resources that I would normally go to. It's really going to allow me to stretch my mind. Oh, I think I found it. I think I found the PDF that you were talking about. Let's see. I'd like to open. Okay, allow. And what this is a grammar book. I think this is the one you're talking about. And if so, it's 797 pages. And I'm sure a lot of them are just like that. Not all of them are vocab and grammar and stuff. Phonology, wow. This one has phonology. I am such a nerd when it comes to stuff like that. I get really excited. Now, I don't know that I'll be going that in depth with it, but I think that that is so cool that they have this and that it's out here and that it was so easily accessible, because sometimes I have trouble finding things about phonetics and phonology. A lot of this, oh no, where did my screen go? Okay, spelling and transcription, vowels, diphthongs, consonants, syllable. Okay, we've got syntax. Wow, this is a lot of linguistics. You've got morphology, you've got more phonology, you have syntax. That is really cool in a nerdy way. Well, thank you so much. And hola, ¿cómo está Enrique? Um, this stream is about Language Jam. And I don't know if you've heard of it. I don't know. For anybody who just arrived, I could keep repeating this throughout the stream. But basically, Language Jam is this short challenge, and I invite you guys to go to the website. I have it linked in the description. And it's this short challenge just spanning over a weekend, this coming weekend. So let's see, the 14th is Thursday. So the 15th, 16th, and 17th. And what you'll do is you sign up for this challenge. It's free, but you could also choose to donate some money to the person Sandra, who organized it. And you sign up, you register, you get a name, and you type in that name, and a random language gets chosen for you out of the languages that are in that system. And oh, cool! So you did sign up for it. That's really neat. Afrikaans. Well, I know Lindy Botis has a channel on learning Afrikaans. Hola, Laura! ¿Cómo estás? But the challenge seems super fun, and I've never done it before, so I don't want to say anything like 100% for sure. But I know that Mari Polyglot has a video on Language Jam talking about it, talking about her experience with Turkish because she got that as her language for one of those competitions. And see, I say competition, but it's a language challenge. And it's so exciting. Once again, I'm going to say this again, but it's exciting because it is a 3-day challenge, and you're not committed to learning that language. The idea is to dabble, and if you want to keep learning it, then you can keep learning it. But it's really neat because what Sandra says and what other people say is that the point is to learn a language that you would have never really thought of learning before. It helps you kind of broaden or expand your language learning horizons. So that's really cool. I really like the concept behind it because normally I'm not a person for dabbling. And I always give this example, but if I have food on my plate and and I said this actually in this interview last night on a podcast called Chanel's Language Learning Journey podcast. I said, if I have turkey, corn, and mashed potatoes on my plate, that I would eat one of them. So I would eat the turkey, then I'd eat the corn, then I'd eat the mashed potatoes. But I'm not the person who takes some turkey, some corn, and some mashed potatoes and eats it all at the same time. And a lot of my analogies have to do with food, but the same thing goes for my languages. I don't usually like to dabble in multiple languages at once, but I thought the concept of this challenge is super, super interesting. And I really wanted to participate because I know a lot of people really enjoy it. And I thought, wow, I feel like I'm really missing out. And like, this would be such a cool thing to try and get out of my comfort zone of not dabbling so much. And that's how I ended up doing this. But yeah, there's still time to register if you've never heard of it, if you are now interested. But if you are interested and want to know more information, it's definitely on the website. So you can go there, or you could watch Mari Polyglot's video on it. Sandra is the one who organizes it. She is on Twitter, and I don't want to butcher the name of her Twitter account, so I will actually type that for you guys. I think it's like Tulipoon. Let me see. I want to verify that before I say it for sure. Currently on the Twitter app. Yes. So this is her name on Twitter. Oh, no. Well, thank you for looking out for me anyway, Andy. I really appreciate it. I always appreciate your suggestions and your help. You are, I always say you are filled with language learning wisdom, and I 100% believe that you would know exactly where to go for any type of language thing. So I really appreciate you checking it out anyway. It seems like Lithuanian is a little bit hard to find resources on, but I am finding some things here. I don't know if I'll end up using them. Let's see a couple of these sites that I clicked on. I don't want to click on too much because I don't want to accidentally see some of these things and like learn ahead of time. There is an alphabet. I'm on mylanguages.org, and there are probably a number of languages on this website, judging by the name of it. And Lithuanian is one of them. There's alphabet. It seems like you can only read it. It doesn't seem like there's any audio. And we have, wow. So we've got text only, it seems, for this website, mylanguages.org. Ooh. Well, thank you. I'll check them out. Okay, I'm going to check them out right now. It seems like my main source of resources is probably going to be through YouTube, and I'm okay with that. I actually really like to listen to videos, whether it's in French or, Portuguese, whatever. I think this will be really helpful. All right. Thank you so much for the suggestion. Really, anything helps. And of course, if you're learning too, take this time to figure out, I guess, what kind of resources you're going to use, what your method's going to be. This period is the prep phase, so we're just preparing for it. And I still need to come up with a goal. I do want to introduce myself. What about teach yourself? This was not already mentioned, and I've heard good things about Teach Yourself. I have never used it though. I'm going to quickly finish looking at this YouTube channel that I was looking at, suggested by Enrique, and then I will look into Teach Yourself. Wow, she's got a lot of videos. Super cool though. Let me see Teach Yourself. Teach Yourself Lithuanian. A Teach Yourself guide. Whoa, oh my gosh. Wow, I just saw the price and wow, oh my goodness. I don't know how much Teach Yourself normally is, but going on Amazon, I see here paperback $15.98 and then other sellers $15.98, but it says new $100. I didn't realize that they were so expensive like that. Wow, it's like buying a textbook for a class. Hey Kevin, how you doing? So glad you're here. Colloquial Lithuanian would be good as well. Bonjour, Paul. I'm looking for Lithuanian. I should be reiterating that from time to time as people come in and leave and everything, but I'm looking for resources in Lithuanian. And so far, just to catch you up to speed, there have been some problems looking for resources in Lithuanian because there aren't as many as some more popular languages out there. It seems like so far YouTube has been the place to find some resources. And before I keep looking though, I should really come up with a goal, something I want to do. Now, if you guys have participated in Language Jam or if you dabble, because as I said before, I'm more of the person who takes the time to learn the grammar and kind of digest one language before moving on to the next. If you have any suggestions for what you do in the short time span of 3 days, it's less than that if you really think about it. But in the short time span of 3 days, I would love any suggestions. Ah, I see. So I see that teach yourself. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. And yes, Mango languages. It seems like nobody has Lithuanian. I wonder if that's the case for a lot of the languages in Language Jam, though. I am so curious. Let me go back to that list and see on languagejam.net. Go back to that list of languages and see what languages are offered. It seemed like there was quite a variety of both languages that are spoken quite a bit and then others not so much. So I'm seeing here, yes, Afrikaans, Arabic, I'm seeing Dutch, French is there. There's quite a variety. And I just happen to get a language that doesn't have as many resources. But you know what? That is all part of the challenge. And to answer your question, I am looking for free resources just because the challenge is short and I don't really want to invest a whole lot of money in something that I might not be moving forward with. Now, if I knew that I was going to study Lithuanian seriously and really dive into it, then I would definitely want to invest some money into it. Yes, 3 days is part of the challenge, and I see why it is called a language challenge because 3 days isn't much time. And as I said before, I'll be working for part of Friday and then part of Sunday is out as well. It'll be interesting to see what to learn. And that's why I don't want to set the bar too high. I just want to I want to be able to introduce myself basically. Omniglat. Omniglat's a good website. What I should be doing is I should be taking notes on these rather than just opening up 100 tabs. Many Lithuanian people prefer to use Russian as a mother tongue. Don't say that. Don't tell me that. It's going to be so problematic. I guess that could explain a lack in resources, potentially. But what I have here, I'm going to write down, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to write down in my handy dandy notebook, stenographer's notebook, some of the resources that I have found and some that you guys have mentioned as well. And what's funny is this is the same notebook that I used when I was learning interpreting and translation in my program. So I actually have some notes here from trying to do consecutive interpreting, long consecutive. So what that means is you hear a speech, a chat, a talk, whatever, for probably like 5 to 10 minutes, some are longer even, and you have to write down as much as you can. And then as soon as they're done, then you give the talk in that language, but you actually do not do it simultaneously, which would mean you're doing it like at the same time as them. It's not short consecutive where they finish a sentence and then you do it. You're basically doing it all from memory. I'm seeing here pre-made Anki decks as well. Yes, Italki, funny story, Luke. Italki was one of the recommended language resources on Language Jam, which is so funny. And while that would be a good idea in some respects, I don't know. I think I'll stick to watching some YouTube videos and seeing where I get through that. Okay. There's a group on Facebook called Políglotas de Depresión. They have many ebooks and PDF and learn lots of languages. Wow. That's really useful. I've been wondering about Facebook communities for polyglots in general because I don't know a lot about languages in the Facebook world, who's on there and what groups are out there, what would be really helpful. I'm only part of a Polish Duolingo learner group on Facebook. Is this a low-key polyglot gathering? Hey, if it is, then I am so happy that we're all able to gather together and talk about this. I'm also thankful you guys are suggesting resources. My intention was just for all of us to look for resources together, but I can't stop talking either. So I'm glad that we're all able to talk to each other as well. I know a lot of people like to do study with me videos where they're just quiet the whole time or have some music in the background. But for me, I really like to engage with people. So I'm glad that you guys are here, and I'm very thankful for the help that you're giving me. I do understand French well. That is one of the languages that I can speak conversationally. So laddering my languages is an option too. Yes, that is another thing, everybody. I know Spanish, French, and Portuguese as well to different levels. Spanish the best, then French, then Portuguese. But laddering languages is also an option, which is super nice if you know multiple languages. My face is getting cut off of the screen, so I have to get down here a little bit. But yes, laddering languages is a great thing if you know multiple languages, especially like this situation here where I'm not really able to find many resources in English. Maybe there are some available in Spanish, maybe in French, as you mentioned. Okay, I'm seeing. Oh, I would not say I am native level in those languages. Ah, no, no he leído literatura panameña, desafortunadamente. Tengo que leer más. Es que para mis clases normalmente leí literatura de Chile, España, especialmente España, pero no panameña. Literatura panameña, no. Pero si tiene sugerencias, me gustaría saber. Ah, qué bueno. I love how just with English and French, I could access so much more stuff. It is so true, especially if you do know a language where there's a lot of resources. I know a lot of people will tell me if they're not a native English speaker that they like to search for things in English because they know that there's a lot of information available in English. And that is so true. That's a little bit of a disadvantage if you're an English speaker because then you have access to the English stuff already. And it seems like there's not as much available in Spanish and other languages because I've found that problem. But it still helps. Anything helps, really. Gracias, Enrique. I have never heard of this show on Netflix. See, I used to have Netflix and I found it really helpful for studying languages. But then I ended up, well, it wasn't me, it was my family. We had Netflix all together. But then we ended up getting the Amazon Fire Stick and not having Netflix because instead we had subscriptions to apps on the Fire Stick. And it's cool because on the Fire Stick, there are different apps that have TV channels from different countries. And it's really nice to practice because there are French channels, there are Spanish channels, there are channels in Portuguese, there are channels in Polish, there are channels in different languages from India as well. There's a little bit of everything, which is super neat. But then it's hard to find some language content outside of regular TV like you would on Netflix because I don't see, as far as I know, an option where I can just go and click on it and there's an option for which language I could watch it in. It seems like a lot of the things that if I go into a movie app, for instance, are in English unless the native language of that movie or TV show is a different language. Thank you for coming by, Luke. I really appreciate it. Paul, that is a really good idea. I think that because French and Spanish are similar, you'll be able to find things out there, and I think you'll be able to pick it up relatively easily, I would say. And I'm seeing from Andy, if you want to experiment with a method of learning via rhythmic music, there's an $11 course called You Talk at the eStories audiobook website. Is this course available in Lithuanian, though? I assume it is if you're saying this. You know what I'm going to do? Instead of writing down these suggestions as we're talking, I'll write them down afterwards so that I don't miss out on the conversation or anything as well. What I should do right now, though, and I keep saying this, but I really, really should do this, is write down what I want to accomplish, my goals. And if you guys are doing this, it's probably good to do that as well. So the goals, I told you I would like to be able to introduce myself. And I want to think of basic phrases that you would use to do so. Okay. So things like hello, greetings, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So I would say greetings is one. Of course, introduction. My name is dot, dot, dot. And then I am such and such years old. Now, this is the part where do I talk about what I do for a living? That's a little bit complicated because the title of what I do, there's a few things involved in what I do for a living. So I try to pick one word and just kind of use that, especially at this beginner level. In Spanish, I think I'd have a little bit of an easier time. Family is a good idea. Counting till 100. You missed this before. I said my worst topics are numbers, time, weather, things like that, but it is worth looking into counting to 100, especially because age is important to mention, I think. I don't know if anyone actually knows how old I am because I haven't really mentioned it. I have kind of implied it, but I don't know that I've actually outright said how old I am. I might have said it in an interview, but I can't remember if that was before we started filming or not. Family, yes, yes, nationality, where I live, age, all of that is really good, so I'll note that down. Family. Oh, that's a good one. It's always good to get around things if you don't know how to say it. That's a really good point. Oh, you thought I was 26. You're actually quite close. And I think it's funny that you mentioned that because usually I get 16, I get 15, I get 18, but no, I am actually close to your age. Not quite, but close. Prox age. Go ahead, take a guess. And while you do that, I will write down what you are telling me here. I see nationality. Yes, nationality. I work. Wow. Wow, you got it. Yeah, 24. 24, you guys. And I haven't revealed that on my channel just because, I don't know, it never came up. Didn't really think I needed to talk about it. But yeah, if you're interested in knowing my age, I am 24. I just turned 24 in December, so I am an end of the year, near the holidays child. I work in blank industry. That's a good point because when I was doing a Polish course that I was learning from, I just ended up choosing the word translator as my job because that is a decent amount of what I do is translating. And I said, because we also learn locations for work, and I said that I worked in an office. I could have said a corporation because it would cover that as well, but that's a good thing to learn. I work in blank industry. So, where title? That's so funny that you say that you assume that people are your age because when I started watching videos in high school about polyglots and language learning, it seemed like a lot of the people in the polyglot community at the time were older than me. And I would say at the time, I was anywhere between 16 to 18 when I was starting off, probably 16 to 17, around there. And I noticed that they were more like in their 30s, maybe late 20s, something like that. I never really knew, but I knew that they were older than high school. Like they had professional jobs, they were way done with school. But now that I've been seeing the community and what it's like, I noticed a lot of people seem to be in high school or in university or literally just got done with school. And it's so funny to like distinguish college and university because for me, college is college, it's university. But because there's such an international crowd, I've learned to say college/university. That's so funny that is sometimes you just don't know. Even if it's your native language, you just don't know how to say something because it can be pretty complicated. Okay, so I've got greetings. My name is, I am blank years old, so age, family, nationality, I work in. I guess another thing worth mentioning would probably be my likes and dislikes, interests. Maybe half of the polyglots/aspiring polyglots I follow are high school and college students. Yeah, I noticed that a lot of people now in the polyglot community are younger, and I think it's really cool that people are starting off younger now because it seemed before like it was a more, I don't want to say a more adult thing to do, but it seemed like younger people didn't have an interest, and it's nice to see them taking an interest in languages. My hobbies, maybe what languages I speak or study. Do you hear the wind in the background right now? As I said before, there is a snowstorm slash ice storm going on in the northeast part of the United States, and it's hitting hard right now, and you could really hear the wind. Interests/hobbies. Okay, languages. Okay, writing down some of your suggestions as well. Blue, 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 however you say it, writing that down. Definitely writing down the PDF on learning Lithuanian, more so for my interest rather than the actual language challenge itself. I have that pulled up though. Lithuanian grammar PDF. And then I have book 2, which was a fantastic recommendation. I'm super excited to use that one. And then we have, let's see, still going, some of the YouTube channels here. Okay, writing those down as well. Typing in colloquial Lithuanian, that's what I'm gonna do right after I write all of these down. It's really interesting to see a little bit of what everybody goes to first when it comes to your suggestions. At least my thought process is, if this is what you're suggesting, this is how you go about looking for languages when you start learning. And it's really cool because, like I said, the first thing, I just heard something outside that was a little bit alarming, but the first thing I usually do is go to YouTube and type, if there isn't like a Duolingo course or a course that I heard about before learning this language, like Korean, I already knew about Talk to Me in Korean, so I knew that that's where I was going to go. But usually I'll go to YouTube and type how I learned whatever language and see what resources they mention in their video. I go to Google, type the same thing. I see if any of the polyglots I follow are learning those languages as well. Nothing on Mango. There is Memrise. I need to write down Políglotas de Depressão, the Facebook group. Writing that down right now. Okay, and then Kevin, if you have suggestions for the websites in French that teach Lithuanian, that would be super, super awesome. Of course, I'll do a Google search as well. And then let's see. Still going, still scrolling. I will look up the Utah course. Not so much for this challenge, just in general, because as you know, I hoard resources, but I'm always looking for new things. And Kevin, I did not know that you were 26, by the way. Okay. The Pirate Bay. Whoa, 104 degrees Fahrenheit? Let me tell you the temperature here right now. You know, just 2 weeks ago, we had a really bad, I don't know if it was a cold front or what, but we were with wind chill negative 30s, like negative 20s degrees Fahrenheit, not Celsius. Right now, according to my phone, we are currently at 27 degrees Fahrenheit. But I'm sure if you go out there with that wind, it feels even colder. Let's see with the wind chill right now. Real feel 14 degrees Fahrenheit. My first language is English, yes. If you're talking to me. I don't know if you're talking to me or not. Kevin, you've been found out. Unintentionally, you've been found out. That's really cool, though, because I feel like even though there are a lot of young polyglots, I feel like I don't meet a lot who are near my age. So that's actually super cool. And thank you. Wow. That's really kind of you to say about my pronunciation and articulation. Sometimes I feel like the English that comes out is like blah blah. Hello, Sophia. Thank you for joining. Ooh, Lena. She's definitely somebody to look into. I have seen a few of her videos. I really should watch more of them because she seems like she's got tons of great information on her channel. I know she has an ebook, I'm pretty sure, and I wanted to look into all of that as well. Oh, yeah. Yep. So you and I probably aren't too far from each other. I live about 2 hours from New York City, and yeah, you're probably getting hit with the same kind of weather that we are right now. Winter's not a fun time. That's why it's nice to be kind of cooped up in here and talking to you guys instead of going outside in that. So, are any of you guys participating in the Language Jam Challenge? And if so, what languages are you learning? Because I would love to know. Weather is still better than 2 weeks ago. Yes, it is. Which, you want to know something extremely nuts? The weather around here. Okay, so 2 weeks ago, as I said, wind chill, we were negative like 20s and 30s degrees Fahrenheit. And then last week, we had a warm up and it was actually near or in the 50s. And once again, this is in Fahrenheit. Just in 1 week, we were shoveling snow and ice and slush and all that gross stuff in the driveway, and the roads were so icy. But then the next week, people were ready to wear shorts. Some people wear shorts in the winter around here, though. But people were wearing shorts, and I'm still bundled up with my winter jacket and my scarf, and people are going, I can't find you under there. Why are you so bundled up? I'm like, guys, it's February. It doesn't matter if it's 50 degrees, it's still winter. And now this week we are back to cold again. And I think that around this time of the year, I mean, this seems pretty normal. We've gotten snow in March. Kevin, please do find out your language and let us know. French, Esperanto, and Spanish. That's super cool. They're all similar to each other, so I'm sure that really helps in learning them and being able to strengthen them. Are you learning them all at the same time? Are you at the same level in each one? Romanian is really cool. It's very different from any of the other Romance languages, in my opinion, because when I hear it, I don't understand it. And when I see it written, it does look different from other languages. But that is so cool. I knew a girl when I went abroad, one of the girls in my program in Spain, she had Romanian parents, so she spoke Romanian. And one time while we were in Spain, we were trying to get a picture together. It was like a whole group of us. And there were tourists who were Romanian, and she was able to ask them to take our picture. It was so neat. So I'm seeing I learned English, Japanese, Korean, Chinese, Sanskrit, Pali. Pali? I've never seen that language before, so I don't know how to pronounce it, unfortunately. And I natively speak Arabic. Those are so many languages and such a variety, and I love that. I love to see people's variety in languages. I love to see if they stick with one family or if they go to different families. I love to know these things. I love knowing about people and what they're learning. Oh, so if you're 4 hours away from the city, then you're probably near Rochester/Buffalo area? Maybe? Maybe? Dakota got Swahili, but said he might be too busy. It's still fun to see what you got, even if you find out that you're too busy to participate. But it's still fun to be able to figure that out as well. Ooh. So I don't actually know anything about that language, Kevin. Is it one that has a Latin script or not? And like, excuse my ignorance, I just have no idea. I don't know. Yeah, hopefully you'll have better luck than me finding resources. I need to keep writing. It's just that you guys are so much fun to talk to, and I'm so glad that there's a conversation going on. Oh. Upper intermediate in French, intermediate in Esperanto, and a beginner in Spanish. Each feed it into the other language. That is so neat. That is awesome. Especially having the different levels in each one. I know for me, I've primarily learned languages in the same family, and what helped me not mix them up as much, and I know it happens, especially if I'm tired, is if I have different levels in them, then I'm more likely to not mix them up so much. Pali is the language of, I cannot pronounce it, unfortunately, but that is so neat because I didn't know anything about that. It's amazing how many languages are out there in the world, and that, there's so many that like I wouldn't know about, or maybe other people don't know about as well, and it's really cool to learn about them. It's funny how you sign up for Language Jam and then you get a language that it's like the system knows, because you do input which languages that you know, but I wonder if it takes into account language families, because yeah, the language I got was nothing like any of the other ones that I've learned, at least to my knowledge. I'm going to write down my languages.org because I think it could be helpful. It says radio here too, and reading and game. Lithuanian radio. Oh, there's a plugin. Okay. That's why it's not popping up. I don't have all the latest and greatest on my laptop just yet. I need to really get on that. My languages. .org. I think it could be helpful. Like I said, there's no audio with it, but it's still good. It says cases. Oh my gosh, wait. Oh my gosh, there's 7 cases. I guess I should have expected that though, because it's a Baltic language. Okay. Wow, 7 cases. And then I have here this other website. I haven't actually clicked on any of the things in it yet. Okay, this one does not seem as helpful. Learn101.org does have some audio, but I don't know if it's just vocabulary or phrases, because as I said, I think what I want to do is I want to learn through phrases rather than vocabulary. Hello, nice to meet you. I'm so glad that you're here. I am thankful for everybody who's joining. I'm really enjoying the conversation. I'm very grateful for your suggestions. And this is so nice to really connect with the community in a different way, because normally, I just put a video up during the week, but there's not the interaction that we have here. Oh, bye, Kevin. It was so nice to see you here. I'm so glad that you joined, and I really had a lot of fun talking and finding out that we're like near the same age. Super cool. Have you considered learning Sanskrit in the future? I don't know anything about Sanskrit, and I've wondered about it. I've wanted to learn a little bit more about it. So maybe it's just I have such a list of languages. I don't know if I'll like get to all of them. It depends really. It depends on if I start dabbling or not because at the rate I'm going, like I said, I like to get to a certain level in one before I learn another. At the rate that I'm going, I'll be dead before I learn a certain amount because I have so many on my list and I tend to learn one for probably, I would say it probably takes me about a year to a year and a half, maybe two, before I decide that I want to learn another one, with the exception being if I have dabbled, which is rare, but um, Polish and Korean. I would say those are the two where I didn't learn them for such an extended period of time. Sandra, I am so jealous that she's learning Hawaiian. I was secretly hoping to get Hawaiian because it was on my list back when I was a teenager when I wrote the list of languages that I want to learn. I was so interested in it, and then I found out that they were going to do a Hawaiian version of Moana where the girl who actually, the original voice actress, would do a Hawaiian version. And I thought, man, this is so cool. Like, I really hope I get it. But the joy in this challenge, the interesting thing is that you don't know what language you're going to get. And you don't choose. That's what is really cool about it. You actually don't choose. So mylanguages.org, and then I have here Learn 101. So I've got Learn 101. And I imagine with this website as well, learn101.org, Lithuanian grammar. So there's a lot here. There's the 500 popular words. There's grammar, there's phrases, adjectives, alphabet, always a good place to start. Let's see, Learn 101. Let me go to the website itself outside of Lithuanian and see if they offer a lot of languages. I imagine that they would. Yes, there is a whole list of languages here. I don't know if you're studying, but I will link this in there as well. Could be helpful. I have never looked at a non-spoken language before. I didn't really know a whole lot about them. Usually I know a lot about the languages, or not a lot, I'm sorry. I've heard of the languages that are more popularly spoken. Some that are not as common, I've probably heard of, but I don't hear people talking a lot about non-spoken symbolic languages. That would be really cool to look at. Sanskrit was the one that was mentioned before as well. Also, it's different, but I will have to look into both Sanskrit and symbolic languages. One that I thought would be interesting to learn would be Aramaic. I don't know anything about it at all, but I thought it would be really cool to look into. Languages. Okay, bliss symbols. There are so many kinds of languages out there, from languages that are not spoken to click languages to languages, conlangs, and to anything really. There's so many different types of languages out there, and it's amazing because when you hear the word language, a lot of people tend to think of like Spanish, French, Chinese, Japanese, Italian, but they don't think of all these other ways to communicate out there. It's really interesting to learn about them. I'm going to add Learn 101 to the chat. Ooh, dropped my pen. And I did not. Hello, Polyglot Files! Thank you for joining. Oh my goodness. I am so excited. Wow. I'm so happy that everybody is here. And I closed out the window that I should not have closed out because I thought that I copied it, but I didn't. Here we go. Now I will add it to the chat. And I guess it's just not letting me copy and paste because I added learn101.org. Trying to type has different languages on it. If you're looking for resources. Does anyone else talk while they're typing things out? Because I do. And I've written down a lot of mentions so far. I forgot to write down this other YouTube channel for learning Lithuanian. I'm going to write that down quickly. It's KRISTYTAMO. I'll write that down on the side here. Christy. Okay, now I'm going to Google because I totally, it slipped my mind in the midst of everything. Did not end up Googling colloquial Lithuanian. Complete course for beginners. Hey, I have Lithuanian. I should type that. Well, yes, I got Lithuanian. Oh, okay. Well, so the reason behind deleting it was because I figured, I don't know, I thought this was some kind of hangout thing and, you know, no one would really want to see it after this. But hey, if it's going to help other people with where to start when finding resources, then I will totally keep it up. If it's going to help people, that is my goal. And especially, I don't know, to have the community here and everything. Yeah, I could totally leave this up if this helps people. Honestly, you guys have been the ones suggesting where to start. And as I said before, a lot of these suggestions show me the process of how you start when you're learning a new language, where you go first, based on whether you go to teach yourself, whether you go to books, whether you go to audio courses like YouTube as well, going to YouTube channels, whether you go to Google and do a Google search. It's very interesting to see into your mind, and just based on that, you suggest things and look things up. It helps me learn about you and your thought process. So I typed in colloquial Lithuanian. This will also potentially be helpful if somebody is studying a language where there are less resources, because as we discussed before, you do have to get creative when there aren't a lot of resources out there. Think about languages like Spanish. You type in learn Spanish, you're going to get so many things out there. You won't even know what to choose because there are so many. But with Lithuanian, you will have to get more creative with trying to find that. I did, okay, Andy, I did see some, I saw some Latvian videos in the playlist that I had before. I should link, once again, I don't know if I can paste things in here, but I should send that to you because there are some videos about Latvian in there. And I need to also try laddering my languages. I just get so distracted from talking and everything, but I love it. I absolutely love this. Colloquial Lithuanian. Complete course for, wow, okay, this one is $34. And the question was asked before of whether I would spend money, and I'm going to say that I'm going to seriously study a language, then chances are I probably won't be spending a lot of money if I spend money for just a weekend. Colloquial Lithuanian. Again, searching. I have wanted to try Glossica. I really have. I've seen a number of courses for it. I've heard good things. I would love to try that sometime. Complete course for beginners. What is this? Is this? Sometimes I think I'm clicking on something and then, okay, this one. Yeah, I'm finding books that are more like $30, $60, and just for a weekend, I wouldn't want to spend that much. There is a PDF here to download. I never know with downloading free PDFs if I could trust the website or not. I might try it, we'll see. I was also going to try to ladder the languages. So maybe there's something available. I just typed this incorrectly. I'm going to see if maybe I can find some resources in Spanish on Lithuanian. Here we go. Aprender lituano. And I'm getting videos for a free course in Spanish for learning Lithuanian. I'm getting Lithuanian for beginners, a 4, almost 5-hour-long video on YouTube. 5 reasons that you should learn Lithuanian. Free Lithuanian course online. This is just doing a search in Spanish, a quick search. And wow, there's even one in Portuguese. That's the thing, when you type in Spanish, sometimes you'll end up getting results in Portuguese too. So sometimes you can find the colloquial series for free online. I did not know that. Wow. You know, I found Harry Potter online in Spanish, and I hit the jackpot because I do have the actual book, but it was nice to have a PDF version as well. But I don't know where I heard that from. Heard it from the wind outside. I find interesting YouTube channels by checking out the YouTube channels of existing language channels that I am watching. Just Googling for the channels does not seem to be the way to go. That is very true. And I know my number one thing to do is Google, which is not always a good thing. But one thing is, yeah, you kind of go down that rabbit hole of when you find something that is useful. And it doesn't matter if it's language related or if it's a completely different topic, whatever. You find somebody's channel, they interviewed someone, you go to that person's channel or social media, then they recommend resources, or you find, you can keep going. There's a chain based on all these people who communicate with each other. You can really find a lot through doing that. I'm going to see. So I Googled it in Spanish. I want to try Googling in French because I know that Kevin did mention that there were resources available in French as well. So I'm going to type. It's so hard to type and talk at the same time. Prendre lituanien. Wow. Okay, so I'm getting a French video called Speak Lithuanian in 3 months, result. Free Lithuanian course. Learn Lithuanian Online from Skilios. Learning Lithuanian fast. A lot of these results in French are about learning Lithuanian quickly. I was wondering, Andy, about your name on YouTube because what I noticed was that your name changed, and I thought, oh, maybe it's because of the blog and everything. But I did have a hard time finding you at first when I would go to type in your channel, and I would have a hard time finding you. But I'm so glad that we'll be able to find you now, especially because I love to watch your stuff and everything. So I'm glad. Um, Still looking. I do have a list compiled here, though. I do have a few courses. I definitely have like a solid website for phrases that Andy recommended and vocabulary as well. I do have the Learn 101 website, or it might have been my languages. No, I think it was Learn 101 that had some audio with it. There were some YouTube channels that I found as well. So I think I have a good list. I don't want too many resources because if I'm only doing this for 3 days, I need to have, for me personally, I would like to have kind of like a clear goal of what I'm going to do and then filter out those resources to find out how I could best utilize each one to reach that goal. And for my goal, it seems pretty basic. It's just to be able to introduce myself and say some basic things. And I don't know how much you could accomplish in 3 days. I'll definitely have to check out the 12-hour video to see what you can learn in 12 hours. Hi, Rasmus. Thank you for joining. I'm looking at all of these Spanish and Portuguese results for learning. A lot of this seems to be a mix of both Spanish and Portuguese. I feel like YouTube is going to be a very good resource in general because a lot of these results that I'm getting are YouTube related. I'm going to click on some of them here. Polyglot Land did a video on Lithuanian for beginners in Spanish. What I should do is compile a document of links, writing everything down, but for now this will have to do. Okay, writing that down. By Polyglot Land. Okay. So I have that one written down. I want to know about that one course that I saw in Spanish as well. It sounds like the courses with audio are your best bet if you want to give a brief self-intro. I think so. I think an audio approach will be very good for what I want to do. And resources, I'm looking for resources for Lithuanian. And it was so nice to see you. Thank you for joining. Enjoy your dinner. And I know I need to eat soon because it's about that time. And I've been talking on here for a while now. But enjoy your dinner. Enjoy your evening. Yes, Andy mentioned book 2, and I did not know about this, and I think it's going to be a fantastic resource. And even for the other lady, I saw Korean on there. I'm really excited about that one. I found this one's in English, not in Spanish or French, but beginner Lithuanian textbook audio lessons online for free. And it's talking about the colloquial language series. And it says, now the Lithuanian audio lessons are free. Recently, Colloquial Language has raised the bar yet again by offering all of the companion audio for their beginner Lithuanian textbook for free online. Now you could simply head over to the Colloquial Lithuanian mini site and download or stream the audio lessons instantly. But wait, it's awesome that this audio is available for free on its own, but it will be most helpful to Lithuanian learners when accompanied by the textbook. Using both the text and audio together is definitely the best way to get the most out of the Colloquial Lithuanian series. I agree. It's nice to have something written so I can see how it is read as well. Oneness. I've never heard of that one. Let me type that into my computer. Oneness. Let me see if this is the correct website. Lithuanian is on here. If this is the correct. Yes, okay, thank you so much. I see on here Lithuanian. Wow, they offer Polish, Portuguese, Finnish, Estonian. Wow. Wow. This looks like it's going to be very promising, especially even in other languages as well, not even just Lithuanian. Book 2 will even generate audio files with the pair of languages you select. Anything you tell me is very, very useful. I appreciate all of this. Oh, so you learned Finnish and Estonian. Finnish was a language that I've wanted to learn because I was really into Nightwish, and I never did end up learning anything beyond just some basic phrases, but I still really like the sound of the language. Oneness. This is why I really like doing this stream. Like I said, I did not think that I thought we were all going to look for our own resources, but I'm seeing such support here and from you guys and your suggestions and everything, and learning about you, talking with you. And then, of course, if you learned these languages that I haven't learned before and you're suggesting these resources, I'm really learning a lot through this because these are resources that I didn't know existed. So it's extremely helpful. And can't speak English. It's extremely helpful for those who are learning those languages as well that might not know where to go. So thank you. Thank you so much. I like this because it's very animated, and I'm afraid to like click on something and that it'll like teach me the language. I see here there are things like hello, at home, bon appetit, left or right, services, going out, health, visiting, rain again. Rain again sounds like a good title for my life at this place because it rains a lot around here and snows. And then let's travel. And then there's the information center here. Socio-cultural information on the Lithuanian life. That's nice because it's also cultural. It's not just language centered. We have Entertainment Park. And I need Adobe Shockwave. I do need to install some more things. I will be doing that between now and the challenge. I don't want that to be holding me back. Don't let your technology hold you back from learning, especially if you're learning in a time frame like this where you have 3 days. The website that I found this, found out about the Lithuanian audio lessons for free was on a website called freelanguage.org. And I've never seen this website before, But I'm willing to bet that they have information, judging by the name, on language resources for free. Keeping this in mind. I wish I could preview this PDF and not just have to download it. Maybe I could. No. Seems like I can't. And then going back to my Spanish thing, 17-minute languages. Oh my goodness. I guess this didn't occur to me, but when I said Spanish, like I said, Spanish and Portuguese are similar, so sometimes when you type something to look it up in Spanish, you'll get Portuguese. The 17-minute languages series that I'm finding for Lithuanian is actually in Portuguese. It's not in Spanish. 17-minute languages. Okay. And then I've got a few French results as well. I'm afraid that many people will wait until the challenge start date before looking for resources, so they may waste the first day that way. I had the feeling that if I didn't hold myself accountable for this, that I may end up doing the same thing. So I'm glad that I committed myself to actually getting online and saying, I'm going to do this, or else I might have just spent my week when I wasn't working either studying other languages or watching TV or reading books, because I've really been into reading lately as well. I'm running out of room on this page. That's a really good thing. Portuguese, Lithuanian course. "17-minute languages is not a free resource." Yeah, I hadn't heard of it until I just Googled the, learn Lithuanian. And there were some YouTube videos available, so maybe they have a couple of things available, but not a whole lot. For free anyway. Lithuanian course. So some of these are YouTube. I should write a little YT next to the YouTube ones. I'll write Facebook, FB next to Facebook. YouTube, I've got a few YouTube channels. And this one's YouTube. Wow, that one's a website, YouTube. Out of this list, I have currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 resources written down. Out of those 14, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them are YouTube, plus one that I didn't write down. So I actually have 6 YouTube channels. Have you ever tried interpreting from L2 to L3 or L3 to L4? That is a good question. Let me think back to, I could have. There was an opportunity I could have had, but my professor had us all interpret. It was relay interpreting. So the original person who was doing the talk was doing it in Portuguese. And then one of my classmates did from Portuguese to English, and we had to go from English into Spanish or Chinese, depending on what our language was that we were studying. And that meant for me going into Spanish. But my professor said to me, could you have gone from Portuguese into Spanish without doing the whole English thing in between? And I said, I think I could have tried that because they're very similar. But I I wouldn't say that I had an opportunity to actually be able to do that. If I ever did, I mean, never professionally, would have never had the opportunity for that, but at least not so far. So, interpreters always interpret from or to native language. Probably for the most part. I know in my course, one of the things that we learned was that a lot of the time they will make you go into your native language rather than to your L2. And, or yes, or into your L3 or L4. But for the most part, you would go into your native language. I've found, depending on the type of interpreting, if you're conference interpreting, I'm sure that's the case. I can't speak for that though, because I've never done conference interpreting, and this is based off of my professor and what she's told me. But doing interpreting in the clinic, for instance, the health clinic and everything that I was doing to and from Spanish, I never had an opportunity to go from Spanish to French or Spanish to Portuguese. I can't remember. If I did have an opportunity, then I don't remember it. I think there may be certain situations where you could end up going from your L2 to L3 or L3 to L4, depending on how commonly spoken the language is, and if there's other people who could speak it or if you're the only one. But I don't know that that's very common. But this is all based off of my classes and what I took, so I'm not entirely sure. I can't speak for everybody, in other words. But it's a very interesting question. All right, so it is currently 5:41 where I'm at, and I know originally I was just going to have this session be an hour long. I am so glad for the conversation, though, the community here, all of your help, supporting each other and everything. It's been really cool. I think it's time for dinner, and also to kind of really organize these resources now that I have them, really refine what I want to do. I've really enjoyed talking to all of you guys, and I know I need to go, but definitely if you guys are on social media or something, continue the conversation. I absolutely love this, and we'll definitely have to do more live streams. I didn't know how this would go, to be honest, because any live stream that I've done so far has been a collaboration and not so much interaction with any viewers. So I'm really happy for this. It's been a really good experience, and I want to thank you for joining. So I'm going to sign off. I don't want to cut anybody off or anything. Talk to each other, however you do that, through social media or anything, through YouTube, whatever it is. But please enjoy your conversation. I'm glad that people are talking to each other, and this has been really fun. So I will see you guys in the next video, and good luck if you're participating in Language Jam. If not, it's still really fun. You can still register for it. And if you're not interested anyway, I'm still really happy that you were here to join. So I will see you guys all. Have a great week. Have a great day, night, wherever you are. And I'll see you guys next time. All right. Bye.